Hi everybody, this is Terry with Ramblings of a Texas Craft Room. And what we're going to ramble about today is this Fiskars machine. I know that you're seeing it from the very top, but this is definitely my machine. And we're going to show you today not how to make a card. I have two videos on YouTube already. One showing you cards that I made, and another video just showing what came with my machine. But I got a lot of emails from people who are wanting to know how I set up my sandwiches and how I cut things on this machine, because I did not buy the adapter plates. So I'm having to make my machine work on lots of different things, on Spellbinders, on Cuddlebug folders, on an Accuquilt. All those things I want to use with this machine, but without the adapters I had to figure out how to do it. It's really simple how to do it. If you have a Cuddlebug, you're halfway there. Okay, let me show you. We're going to start with what comes with the machine, which when you buy this machine, you're going to get this plastic holding tray, and you're going to get your die cut. Okay, and so if you'll notice these nubs inside here, this corresponds with the holes in the back of this die cut. And when you put it inside, you can see now the nubs pop up inside, and that is to hold up your letterpress. You can barely tell it, but it's a little bit above this, I think it's, yeah, this rubber mat here. And basically what you have to do is, when it's in this case, this is where you ink it. And the reason is so that you can ink it without getting it on the rubber, which will get on your paper. Okay? So after you ink it up, and they really recommend, and I have to say it is true, they really recommend that you use their Fiskars ink. And the reason for that is that this ink pad is fabric and not foam. Foam is too soft and it will not stay on the top. It goes down too deep. So they do recommend that you use theirs, and I have to admit, I use theirs, I used other brands, and I always come back to using theirs because theirs does work. Okay, once you've inked it up, you take it out and you put your storage tray away. And then you take your paper and you put it on top. And now you're going to only put, you have one cutting mat, and this is it. And you can see it's all torn up because it grabs it from the inside whenever you cut it, and it hits the top of this. Now, they say that you will eventually have to replace this mat. I don't know how often. I've cut a lot with this, and it's still good. I'm not really sure how long we're going to have to go. Okay? And then we're going to put it through. And you just put it through your machine like this. I'm going to be off camera, I think, because I couldn't get it all in the camera. So I'm running it through my machine. Okay? And then you're going to open it up. And there you go. Perfectly embossed, perfectly stamped, and perfectly cut out. Now, if you want to do other things besides paper, you can. We'll put it back into the holding so I can stamp it again. And this time we're going to use some felt. And this is just the kids' felt in the kids' department at Michael's or Joann's. Just the base. You can also get it at Walmart. So we're going to put that. Now, what I did with my felt, but you don't have to. You can see this one here. I took it and I backed it with some cardstock. But you don't have to. You can just put the felt directly on there. Just like that. And you take it out of your case and put your mat cover on top and run it through your machine. And there you go. Cuts beautifully. There you are. I really do like that. But now if you wanted to do it with the cardstock, the way I do it is I take some spray glue, and I'm just going to pull it off camera for a second, but I just spray the mat, and then I put the foam right on top of the felt right on top of it and smooth it out, and then I run it through the machine. And I'm not going to stamp it this time, I'm just going to run it through. Okay, so you put the letterpress, your fabric, and I'm going to run it through. And it runs through beautifully, no problem. And then I'm going to open it. There you go. And it still has some ink on it from where I inked it earlier, so you can still see it. And I took their ink, and I took a happy birthday stamp, and I stamped happy birthday right there, and it stamped beautifully. I didn't use any special ink or anything, and it just stamped beautifully on here. And then it gives you something to... If you look at the on the 20th, I posted a card for my mother for her birthday, and this is how I made her card. I put some cardstock on the back of the felt. Okay, let's move on. We have a lot to do. Okay, so that's how you do that. Now, if you wanted to just cut this shape, you didn't want to stamp it or have any embossing or anything, just put in your paper, run it through, and there is your. If it won't come out, you just take a pencil and poke it here. And poke it again. So I can get my pencil to work. There we go. There it is. And you just poke it out. There it is. Perfect. Okay. And that's how you do that. Now, let's say you wanted to letterpress. Let's say you wanted to emboss, but you did not want to die cut or anything like that. Okay, you can do that easily. You can go ahead and stamp this up. And this time you're going to use their plate, which is just their basic medium base plate. You're going to put that on top, run your paper right there on top, and you're going to take, oh, I'm sorry, hit the camera. You're going to take your regular cutting mat, and we're going to run it through. And there it is. And now you've embossed it. Like this is the front of your card or whatever. Or you can hand cut it out. You shouldn't have to. You can cut it out. But if you just wanted to emboss it and stamp it, you could do that. You don't have to cut out the shape. Okay? And that's how you do it with just these two plates. Okay? All right, let's move on. That's how you do all the Spellbinders. Okay? That's how you do all of theirs. Now let's move on to, let's say you want to do some Cuddlebug stuff. Okay, let's move this over here. Okay, so you bring out your Cuddlebug. You have your, these are very much loved, so mine are an absolute disaster. You have your A plate, 2 B plates, and a C plate. And you can see my C plate has been broken numerous amount of times. And all I do is I just take some packing tape and I just tape it back together, and it works beautifully. I guess one day I will replace it, but when you put the packing tape on it, it still works beautifully, so I don't see any reason to replace it. Okay, so these are what you're going to use. Let's say you want to do a Cuddlebug folder, or anybody's folder. This is how you do it. You're going to take your paper and put it inside, and you're going to take a B plate, an A plate, a B plate, and then a B plate on top of this. Okay, and we're going to run it through the Cuddlebug. Run it through the Fiskars fuse. Works beautifully. No need for the extender plates or anything to use Cuddlebug. There's just no reason for it. Okay. What's really cool about this is that in the Cuddlebug, it has to go in this way. But what's really cool about this, if you have a big piece of paper and you're just trying to emboss in the middle of something, you can go this way. The only thing I'm pretty sure, I don't know what the expender plates are, but they may be the 12 inches, and that would be really cool to have that, because this is only 6-8 inches, whatever it is. But this way it goes like that. You can do either way, okay? Now, if you want to do Spellbinders, let's say you want to do just a basic thin die like this, okay? So we're going to put our A plate, our B plate, and we're going to put a piece of paper. But what I recommend on these little ones here is a little bit of wax paper. And you just tear yourself a little piece of wax paper and put it right on top of this, okay? You're going to put A plate, B plate. You're going to put your die. Then you're going, and with the, you've got the cutting up. You're going to put in your wax paper, and then you're going to put your paper, and then you're going to put your C plate for cutting, okay? And we're going to pull it right through. And it's harder to get through. It's not hard. I mean, it's as hard as it is through a Cuddlebug. It's just not as easy as it is with their dies. Okay, you're going to pull that out. And with this paper, with the wax paper, it comes right out. And you just take your wax paper off, and then you'll just, there you go. You have your cut, however, and then you have to pull all your little pieces out. Okay? Works perfectly. And you can do that with all the thin dies. Okay? All right, now let me grab a Tim Holtz die. Okay, if you want to do a Tim Holtz die or you want to do a Sizzie die, you know, they're this, and then Sizzie has all their dies if you wanted to do, and you can see they're all the same size, okay? And if you'll notice, they're also the same size as an A plate. You'll see that the thickness is about the same as an A plate, okay? It is also the thickness of their plates, okay? So they're all within very, very close, and these are all about the same size, or it's definitely about the same thickness, okay? So let's say you wanted to do the Tim Holtz, okay? I'm going to put that there. I'm going to put my paper on the inside, and I'm going to put my C plate, okay? And then I'm going to run it through. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. It's not going to, yeah, it didn't touch it. I need a B plate. I'm sorry. You're going to put your B plate, then your Tim Holtz. Let me change paper. Did it cut? No, it didn't cut it. Okay. I thought maybe it have cut it. And then 2 B plates. You're going to do 2 B plates. Okay? Did I totally confuse you? I'm sorry. I confused myself. I will go over it one more time. And there's your cuts. Okay? And you pull them out. Okay? Let me show you again. Okay? On this is going to be totally different than you use it for anything else. You're going to use a B plate. Any Tim Holtz or even the Sizzie. Let me show you the Sizzie as we did the Tim Holtz. Let me find some paper. Let me grab some paper. Sorry, I'm leaning over here. Sorry. I thought I had enough paper and I didn't. Okay. So we're going to do B plate, your cutting plate, your paper, another B plate. Okay? Push it through. Like butter. Okay? And there it is. Perfect. And this is nice thick cardstock. This is good cardstock. Okay? So I hope I didn't confuse you a while ago. Because you're going to use 2 B plates. If you're using a Sizzie or Tim Holtz or anybody, you're going to use 2 B plates. Okay? Okay, 2 B plates on that. Okay, but if you're going to use Sizzie thin dies, the little metal dies, use an A and a B and a C plate just like you would on a Cuddlebug. And if you're going to use a Cuddlebug folder, you're going to use the A plate, a B plate, and another B plate. Okay, just the same. Okay, but if you're going to use these, don't use your A plate. Use your B plate. I hope I didn't confuse you. Okay, now one more thing. I do have a. Here it is. This is an Accuquilt. An Accuquilt Go, and it is a 5 or 6 inch rag quilt. And as you can see, it's well loved. I have used it a zillion times. I love this thing. It makes beautiful rag quilts. I made 2 rag quilts with this, and I did it with my Fiskars machine. Okay, and the way I did that, let me show you. I just so happen to have some acrylic. Okay, and if you go and you look at how thick the acrylic things are for the Accuquilt, you can tell the thickness that you're going to need. I so happen to have this, and I have no idea how thick this is. I'm going to say it's 1/4 of an inch, but I have no idea. I'm measure challenged. Okay, this is the one that I use every day, and the same thing. You can tell it's popped and cracked, and so I just taped it. So this is what I use every single day. Okay, but this is what it started out like. And I got this at Lowe's, and they cut it for me the size that I wanted. Okay, and I think this is 12 inches by 8. But I had this left over from some shelving that I did, so I didn't have this one cut. But I did have this piece cut. And this piece is 12 inches by, let me see, I think it's 15. And I did have them cut this, and this is really thin, probably like 1/8 of an inch. I can't tell if you can tell, but it's 1/8 of an inch, okay? And so I put this down first. The only thing I would do, if you're going to get this acrylic cut, if you go and look at Accuquilts, you'll see their mats are very, very thin like this, okay? This is 12 inches. I would have had them cut at 11.5 because it hits the side of my machine if I'm not careful, and so I have to be careful. It's too tight of a fit, okay? So you're going to get your 1/8 of an inch, or maybe a 1/4 of an inch. A 1/4 of an inch cut. Then you're going to put in your Accuquilt. And then this is what I use in my Accuquilt. It's got stuff all over it, but it's a piece of felt. I'm sorry, flannel, some flannel. Okay, it's flannel. Okay, there we go. So we're going to put that on there. And then we're going to take my piece that's got all this on it. We're going to set it right on top. Okay, and we're going to run this through. When you hear it cracking, making all kind of noise, it doesn't hurt anything. I'm going to have to pull it out because this is a lot bigger than what I was planning, and it's going to hit something. Okay. Yeah. I'm going to pull it back out. Okay. Let me pull this back out for you so you can see it. Okay. Okay. So you take this off, and there's my rag quilt. And there's my rag. Oh, I'm sorry, hit the camera. There's my rag quilt. Okay. And that's all I did. I already had this cut, so it didn't cost me, but I think $10 to have one of these. And in fact, I think they cut me 2 of these. So I don't know if it was cheaper to do that than get maybe what was going to fit in the Accuquilt. I didn't think that their mats would fit because their depth size is different than this one. So I had to match it to this machine. So what I did is basically measure my A plate, B plate, and C plate. Said, okay, that's how big I need to be. That's how thick, the thickness I'm trying to make. I hope that makes sense. But that's what I did. Like I said, I think this is 1/4 of an inch, and this other one is probably going to be about 1/4 of an inch. You can try it. And I don't know if what Accuquilt sells will fit in here. And if you can just buy the adapters, if you've got the money to buy the adapters, I'd probably just buy the adapters and be done with it. But I didn't. So they were like, I don't know, $100 or something. And I got this right here for 10. And everything for my my Cuddlebug worked. So I didn't see any reason to spend $100. So I didn't. But if you have the money and it's less hassle to you, by all means, go ahead and do it. Okay, I hope that all makes sense. I'm going to play the video back, and if it doesn't make any sense, I'll try to re-video, and you'll never see this. If it looked okay and it made sense, and I'm going to send it on to YouTube. So thank you very much, and if you'd like to stop by my blog, which is ramblingsofatexascraftroom.blogspot.com, I'm usually rambling about something over there a couple days a week, and I'm also a designer on a blog called a Card a Day blog, which is cardaday.blogspot.com, and over there we do have a brand new card posted every single day, 365 days a year. We have 5 or 6 of the most wonderful designers. They're lovely ladies who do a great job on their cards, and every day one of us posts a card over there. So if you get a chance, go over there and stop there too. Thank you so much. Bye.